She saved the monster everyone feared, and it destroyed everything she knew. Lena Carter didn't believe in the supernatural. She believed in tourniquets, adrenaline, and keeping people alive long enough to see morning. But when a dying wolf appeared on her doorstep and transformed into a man bleeding out in her arms, belief became irrelevant. The pack circling her cabin didn't care what she believed. The rival alpha hunting them didn't care. And the ancient power awakening inside her bloodstream, it didn't ask permission. This is a story of survival, sacrifice, and the moment one woman stopped running from fate and started fighting back. If you're watching from the safety of your city tonight, drop its name in the comments below. Hit that like button. And whatever you do, don't stop listening, because what happens next will change everything you thought you knew about power, loyalty, and the choices we make when the world goes dark. The snow came down like broken glass. Lena Carter gripped the steering wheel tighter as her battered SUV crawled up the mountain road, headlights carving pale tunnels through the blizzard. Her scrubs were still damp with someone else's blood, a motorcyclist who hadn't made it, despite everything she'd tried. 12 hours into a shift that should have been 8. 3 codes, 2 saves, 1 loss. She was so tired her bones ached. The radio crackled static, then died. No signal this far up. Just her, the storm, and 20 more minutes of switchbacks before she'd see the cabin lights. She'd bought the place 2 years ago with money she didn't have, driven by a need she couldn't name. Isolation. Silence. A place where the job couldn't follow her home. Tonight, she'd give anything for noise. The wipers fought the ice. Lost. She leaned forward, squinting through the windshield, and that's when she saw it. Something dark sprawled across the road. Lena hit the brakes. The SUV fishtailed, tires screaming, and stopped 3 feet from impact. Jesus Christ! She threw the door open. Wind slammed into her, stealing her breath, but she was already moving. Training overrode exhaustion. Assess, stabilize, save. The shape on the road wasn't debris. It was an animal, massive, fur matted with blood and snow. A wolf. No, bigger than any wolf she'd ever seen. Easily 200 pounds, maybe more. Its chest rose and fell in shallow, hitching gasps. Lena dropped to her knees beside it. Hey, stay with me. The wolf's eye cracked open. Yellow, bright as a headlight. It stared at her with something that wasn't animal intelligence, something sharper, older, aware. Her hands moved on instinct. She pressed against the wound in its side, feeling the hot rush of blood. Too much blood. Arterial. This thing was dying. I don't know what the hell you are, she muttered, but you're not dying on my watch. She ran back to the SUV, grabbed her medkit, and worked in the storm like she'd worked 1,000 scenes before. Pressure. Clotting powder. Field dressing that wouldn't hold for long but might buy time. The wolf didn't fight her, didn't snap, just watched with those impossible eyes. When she finished, it tried to stand. Don't. Too late. The wolf lurched upright, stumbled, and collapsed again. Lena caught it before it hit the asphalt. 200 pounds of dying predator sagged into her arms. You stubborn idiot, she hissed. Fine, come on. She didn't know how she got it into the SUV. Adrenaline, maybe. Desperation. The wolf sprawled across the back seat, panting, bleeding through her bandages. She climbed behind the wheel and drove. 5 minutes to the cabin. 4. 3. The wolf made a sound, low, guttural, not quite a growl, more like a word she couldn't understand. Hang on, Lena said. We're almost there. The cabin appeared through the trees, small and solid and dark. She parked, killed the engine, and turned around. The wolf was looking at her. And then it wasn't a wolf anymore. The change happened fast, too fast for her brain to process. Fur became skin. Claws became fingers. The massive body contracted, reshaped, reformed into something human. A man. Naked, bleeding, sprawled across her back seat with the same yellow eyes. Lena stopped breathing. Help me, the man whispered. Then he passed out. But she dragged him inside. Logical thought had left the building. Panic wanted to take its place, but training wouldn't let it. Assess. Stabilize. Save. The mantra played on repeat as she hauled him onto the couch, ignoring the impossibility of what she'd just seen. He was tall. heavily muscled, mid-30s maybe, with dark hair plastered to his skull and a face that would have been handsome if it wasn't gray with blood loss. The wound in his side was worse than she'd thought, deep, ragged, like something had tried to tear him open. Lena worked fast. IV line, saline, antibiotics from her emergency stash. She cleaned the wound, stitched what she could, and wrapped him tight. His pulse was thready but present, breathing shallow but steady. He didn't wake. She sat back on her heels, hands shaking now that the work was done. A wolf. A man. A wolf that became a man. "This isn't real," she said aloud. The man on her couch didn't answer. Lena stood, paced to the window, and looked out at the storm. The snow was coming down harder now, erasing her tire tracks, sealing her in. She should call someone. The police. Animal control. A psychiatrist. Except she had no signal. And what would she even say? "Hi, I just saved a werewolf. Send help." She laughed. It came out broken. Behind her, the man stirred. Lena spun around. His eyes were open, those same yellow eyes, glowing faintly in the firelight. He looked at her, then at the IV in his arm, then back at her. "You didn't run," he said. His voice was rough, scraped raw. "You were dying. Most people would have let me." "I'm not most people." He almost smiled. "No, you're not." Lena crossed her arms. "What are you? Dangerous?" "I figured that part out." "Then you should have left me in the road." "Too late now." She gestured at the bandages, the IV. "You want to tell me what happened, or should I start guessing?" The man tried to sit up, failed, cursed under his breath, and settled for propping himself on one elbow. "My name is Kyle. I'm an alpha, and I was ambushed by someone who wants me dead." "An alpha?" Lena repeated the word like it might make sense if she said it slower. "As in werewolf. As in wolf shifter, yes. Right, and someone ambushed you." "A rival pack. They used weapons they shouldn't have, silver laced with dark magic. The kind that doesn't just kill, it corrupts." He looked at the wound in his side. "I barely got out." Lena processed that. Failed. "Magic. You're telling me magic is real. You just watched me shift from wolf to man, and that's the part you're stuck on?" "Fair point." She sank into the chair across from him. "Why were they hunting you?" "Territory, power, the usual reasons people kill each other." Kyle met her eyes. "I'm the alpha of the Northern Range Pack. We control the mountains from here to the border. Or we did. Now there's a challenger. Someone strong enough to use forbidden magic and ruthless enough not to care about the cost. And you just happened to collapse on my road. I was running. This was as far as I got. Lucky me." "Yes," Kyle said quietly. "It was." The way he said it made something twist in Lena's chest. She shoved the feeling down. "So what now? You heal up and leave?" "If I can." "What's stopping you?" Kyle tilted his head, listening to something she couldn't hear. His expression went cold. "They are." Lena stood. "Who?" "My pack. They tracked me here." "Your pack? I thought you said the enemy." "Not the enemy. Mine." He looked at her, and for the first time she saw fear in those yellow eyes. "They're outside right now." Lena moved to the window. At first she saw nothing but snow and darkness. Then the darkness moved. Shapes circled the cabin, massive, low to the ground. Wolves, dozens of them, silent as ghosts, forming a perfect perimeter. "Oh my God." "They won't attack," Kyle said. "Not without my order." "That's supposed to make me feel better?" "They're here to protect me. But they don't know you, don't trust you. If they think you're a threat, I saved your life. They don't care." Kyle pushed himself upright with a grimace. "To them, you're human. An outsider, and humans don't stumble into wolf territory by accident. I live here, which makes it worse." Lena stared at him. "Are you serious right now?" "Do I look like I'm joking?" He didn't, and the wolves outside weren't joking either. She could feel their presence like weight pressing against the walls. "So what do I do?" she asked. "Stay inside, stay calm. Let me talk to them." You can barely stand. I don't have a choice. Kyle rose, swaying but upright, and moved toward the door. Lena grabbed his arm. Wait, if they don't trust me, what's stopping them from deciding I'm the enemy? Me, Kyle said simply. I'm their alpha. My word is law. And if your word isn't enough? He looked at her hand on his arm, then at her face. Then we'll find out just how dangerous you really are. He pulled free and opened the door. The cold hit like a fist. Lena stood in the doorway, watching as Kyle stepped onto the porch. The wolves closed in immediately, not attacking, but not backing off either. They moved like liquid shadow, circling, testing, waiting. Kyle spoke. Not in English. In something older, rougher, half growl and half language. The wolves stopped. One of them shifted. The transformation was just as impossible the second time. Fur melted into skin, limbs elongated, and a woman stood where a wolf had been. Tall, lean, scars crisscross her bare shoulders. You're alive, she said. No thanks to Victor. We tracked you for miles, lost the trail at the river. The woman's gaze slid past Kale to Lena. Who's the human? The reason I'm still breathing. That doesn't answer my question. Her name is Lena. She's a medic. She found me on the road and brought me here. The woman studied Lena like she was livestock. Convenient. It was luck. Was it? Another wolf shifted, this one male, broader, with a voice like gravel. Humans don't live this far up without reason, and they don't survive wolf attacks by accident. I didn't attack her, Kyle said sharply. No, but you led us here. To her door, to her territory. The man stepped closer. What if she's working with Victor? She's not. You don't know that. I know she saved my life when she could have let me die. That's enough. Not for the pack. The words hung in the frozen air. Lena felt every wolf's eyes on her now, assessing, judging, deciding. I don't know who Victor is, she said. I don't know anything about your war. I'm a paramedic. I save lives. That's all I did. The woman tilted her head. Noble, but irrelevant. Irrelevant. You've seen us. You know what we are. That makes you a liability. Lena's pulse spiked. I'm not going to tell anyone. You say that now. I mean it. Do you? The woman moved closer and Lena saw the predator beneath the skin. Because humans lie. They always lie. And we can't afford witnesses. Enough, Kyle said. She's a risk, Kyle. She's under my protection. The woman laughed. You can barely stand. How are you going to protect anyone? Try me, Kyle said, and his voice dropped into something that wasn't quite human. The wolves went still. The woman held his gaze for a long moment, then stepped back. Fine. Your call, Alpha. But if she becomes a problem, it's on you. Understood. The woman turned to the pack. Fall back. Establish a perimeter. No one in or out without the Alpha's word. The wolves obeyed. They melted into the trees, gone as quickly as they'd appeared. Only the woman and the man remained. They don't trust her, the man said. They don't have to, Kyle replied. I do. That's a mistake. Then it's mine to make. The man shook his head but didn't argue. He shifted back into wolf form and vanished into the darkness. The woman lingered. You're bleeding again, she said. Kale looked down. Fresh blood soaked through the bandages. I'll manage. Will you? She glanced at Lena. Can she even keep you alive long enough to heal? She already did. Once. What about the second time? The third? The woman's voice softened, just slightly. Victor used cursed silver, Kyle. That wound won't heal on its own. You need a healer, a real one. We don't have one. Then you're going to die. Kyle didn't answer. The woman sighed, stubborn as ever. She shifted, turned, then paused. For what it's worth, I hope you're right about her. Then she was gone. Cool. Lena helped Kale back inside and locked the door. Not that a lock would stop a pack of werewolves, but it made her feel better. Friends of yours? She asked. family, warm bunch. Kale sank onto the couch. They're scared. I'm their alpha. If I die, the pack falls apart. Victor wins. Everything we've built is gone. Who is Victor? The rival alpha I told you about. He controls the southern range. Used to be content with his territory, but something changed. He started expanding, taking land, killing anyone who stood in his way. Kale's jaw tightened. Last month he killed my second-in-command's mate, tore her apart in front of him as a message. Lena sat down slowly. What was the message? Submit or die. And you didn't submit. Would you? She thought about it. No. Then you understand. Lena looked at the wound in his side. Your friend was right. That's not healing. I know. What happens if it doesn't? I die. Victor wins. The pack scatters or submits, and the mountains become his hunting ground. That's it? No plan B? Kyle smiled faintly. You're looking at it. I'm a paramedic, not a miracle worker. You kept me alive this long. By accident. Was it? Lena frowned. What's that supposed to mean? Kyle studied her, really looked at her, like he was seeing something beneath the surface. When you touched me, when you stopped the bleeding, did you feel anything? Feel what? Heat, energy, like something inside you reaching out. Lena opened her mouth to say no, stopped, because she had felt something, just a flicker, so brief she'd dismissed it as adrenaline. But now that he mentioned it, I don't know what you're talking about, she lied. Kyle's expression said he didn't believe her, but he let it go. Get some rest. Tomorrow's going to be difficult. Why? Because the pack will want answers, and I'm going to have to convince them you're not a threat. How are you going to do that? I don't know yet. Great. Lena stood, exhausted beyond words, and headed for the stairs. She paused at the bottom. Kyle. Yeah? If I'd left you on that road, would you have died? He didn't hesitate. Yes. And if I let you die now? Your pack outside would probably kill me. No, Kale said quietly. They'd leave. You're not their enemy. You're just collateral. Somehow, that was worse. Lena climbed the stairs, locked herself in the bedroom, and sat on the edge of the bed. Her hands were shaking again. She looked at them, saw the faint smear of blood still under her nails, and felt that flicker again. Heat. Energy. Something. This isn't real, she whispered. But the wolves outside said otherwise. She didn't sleep. Dawn came gray and cold. Lena found Kyle on the porch, leaning against the railing like it was the only thing keeping him upright. The bandage on his side was soaked through. You're bleeding again, she said. I know. You need to rest. Can't. The pack's getting restless. Lena followed his gaze. The wolves were still there, dozens of them, watching from the trees. Silent. Patient. Waiting. What are they waiting for? Me to prove I'm still strong enough to lead. You can barely stand. Then I'll stand badly. Kale pushed off the railing, winced, and straightened. They need to see me upright, in control. If I show weakness, they'll what? Overthrow you? Something like that. That's insane. That's pack law. A wolf stepped out of the trees, the woman from last night. She shifted, naked and unbothered by the cold, and walked toward them. We need to talk, she said. Kyle nodded. Inside. They moved into the cabin. Lena shut the door and stood by the fireplace, trying not to feel like prey. The woman ignored her. Victor's scouts were spotted near the eastern ridge. They're probing our defenses. How many? 4, maybe 5. They retreated before we could engage. He's testing us. Obviously. The woman crossed her arms. The pack wants to strike back, hit his territory before he hits ours. We're not ready. We're never going to be ready if you're stuck in a human's cabin bleeding out. Kale's eyes flashed yellow. Watch it, Mara. Mara held his gaze. I'm not trying to challenge you. I'm trying to keep you alive.
By doing what? Leaving Lena to die? She's not Pac. She saved my life. And now she's a liability. Mara looked at Lena. No offense. Plenty taken, Lena shot back. Mara ignored her. The others are talking, Kale. They're saying you're compromised, that you're choosing a human over the Pac. I'm choosing to honor a debt.
Debts get people killed. So does abandoning loyalty. Mara's expression darkened. You can't protect her and lead the Pac. Watch me. Kyle. This conversation is over. Mara stared at him. For a moment, Lena thought she might actually challenge him, shift, attack, force the issue, but she just shook her head. You're going to get us all killed, she said. Then she left. Ian, Lena let out a breath she didn't know she'd been holding. She seems nice. Kale sagged against the wall. She's my beta, second in command. She's supposed to question me. Does she always question you like that? Only when I'm being an idiot. And are you? Kale looked at her. Probably. Lena crossed the room, checked his bandages, and cursed under her breath. You're still bleeding. This wound should have clotted by now. It's cursed silver. It won't heal normally. Then what do we do? I don't know. Lena pressed her hand against the wound, trying to slow the bleeding. Heat flared under her palm, sharp, sudden, like touching a live wire. She gasped and pulled back. Kael's eyes widened. You felt it. Don't lie. You felt it. The same thing I felt last night. Lena stared at her hand. The heat was still there, pulsing faintly under her skin. What is it? Magic. I don't have magic. You do now. That's impossible. So are werewolves, but here we are. Kale grabbed her wrist, not hard, but firm. Do it again. I don't know how. Yes, you do. You did it last night without thinking. Just reach for it. Lena looked at the wound, at the blood, at the man who should have been dead but wasn't. She pressed her hand against his side. The heat flared again, stronger this time, hotter, burning through her veins like fire. She felt something open inside her, something deep and old and waiting. Power, raw and unfiltered and terrifying. The wound closed. Not completely, but enough. The bleeding stopped. The torn flesh knitted together, slow and imperfect, but healing. Kale sucked in a breath. How did you... Lena stumbled back, dizzy, her vision blurring. I don't know. You healed me. I don't know how. But you did. She looked at her hands. They were shaking. The heat was fading now, leaving her cold and hollow. This isn't possible, she whispered. Kale stood, moving easier now, the pain gone from his face. It's more than possible. It's real. And it means you're not just human. What are you talking about? Healing magic. That kind of power doesn't come from nowhere. It's inherited. Bloodline. He stepped closer. Lena, who were your parents? I don't know. I was adopted. Do you know anything about your birth family? No, the records were sealed. Lena backed away. This is insane. I can't... You just healed a cursed wound. With your bare hands. That's not insane. That's magic. I don't want it. Too late. You have it. And now that you've used it... Kale stopped. His expression shifted. They know. Who? The pack. Outside, the wolves started howling. The sound was deafening. Lena clapped her hands over her ears, but it didn't help. The howls echoed through the trees, building into a chorus that shook the cabin walls. Kael moved to the window. We need to go. Now. Go where? Anywhere but here. Why? Because you just broadcast your power to every wolf in 50 miles, including Victor's pack. Lena's blood turned to ice. What? Magic leaves a signature. You used enough to heal me. That's like firing a flare into the sky. Kale grabbed her arm. Get your things. We're leaving. I'm not going anywhere until you explain. The window exploded. Glass shattered inward. Lena threw up her arms, felt something hot slice across her cheek. Kyle shoved her down, covering her body with his. A wolf landed in the cabin, huge, black fur, eyes like coals. It shifted. The man who emerged was older than Kyle, scarred and brutal, with a smile that promised violence. "Well," he said, "isn't this interesting?" Kyle stood, putting himself between Lena and the intruder. "Victor, Kyle, you look terrible. You look worse." Victor laughed. "Still got that mouth. I was hoping the silver would have shut it permanently. Sorry to disappoint." "Oh, you didn't disappoint. You led me straight to something far more valuable." Victor's gaze locked on Lena. "A healer. And not just any healer, one with old blood. I can smell it from here." Lena scrambled to her feet. "Get out of my house." "Your house?" Victor stepped over the broken glass. "Sweetheart, this is wolf territory. Has been for centuries. You're just renting." "I said get out. Or what? You'll heal me to death?" Kyle moved, fast. He slammed into Victor, driving him backward. They hit the wall hard enough to crack the wood. Victor snarled, shifted mid-lunge, and suddenly it was man versus wolf. Claws tore through fabric, teeth snapped for throats. Lena watched, frozen, as they fought. Brutal, vicious, no rules, no mercy. Kyle was losing. He was still weak, still bleeding, and Victor was fresh. The black wolf pinned him, jaws closing around his shoulder, tearing deep. Lena didn't think. She ran forward, grabbed Victor's fur, and felt the heat explode through her. This time, it didn't heal. It burned. Victor screamed, a sound halfway between wolf and man, and threw himself away from her. He hit the floor, shifted back to human, and stared at his hands. They were blistered, smoking. "What the hell are you?" he hissed. Lena stared at her own hands. They were glowing faintly, pulsing with that same impossible heat. "I don't know," she whispered. Victor's eyes narrowed. "Then let's find out." He shifted again, lunged, and Kyle hit him from the side, driving him through the broken window. They tumbled out into the snow and the pack erupted. Wolves poured out of the trees. Kyle's, Victor's, two packs colliding in a storm of fur and fangs and blood. Lena stood in the wreckage of her cabin, watching her quiet life burn. And deep inside her chest, something woke up. Something old. Something powerful. Something that whispered, "Finally." The battle spilled across the snow like ink on white paper. Lena pressed herself against the doorframe, trying to make sense of the chaos. Wolves everywhere, gray, black, brown, white, crashing into each other with sounds that made her stomach turn. Bone on bone, claws ripping through fur, the wet, terrible noise of flesh tearing. She couldn't tell who was winning. Kyle fought in the center of it all, human form still, bleeding from a dozen new wounds. Victor circled him, wolf form now, teeth bared in something that looked like a grin. The black wolf was bigger, faster, and Kyle was already dying. This wasn't going to end well. Lena's hands still glowed faintly, that impossible heat pulsing under her skin. She stared at them, at the blisters she'd burned into Victor's flesh without meaning to, and felt something crack open inside her chest. Not fear. Worse than fear. Recognition. Like her body had been waiting for this moment her entire life. "No," she whispered. "No, this isn't—" A wolf hit the porch 3 feet from her. Mara. She shifted mid-fall, landed human, and spun to face 2 of Victor's wolves charging up behind her. "Get inside," Mara shouted. "I can help. You can die. Move." Lena moved. She stumbled back into the cabin, slammed the door, and locked it. Useless. The window was already shattered, the frame splintered. A locked door wouldn't stop anything out there. Through the broken glass, she watched Mara shift back into wolf form and meet the attackers head-on. Blood sprayed across the snow. Someone screamed, human-voiced, wolf-throated, impossible to tell. Lena backed away from the window. Her medical kit sat on the kitchen table where she'd left it. Bandages, antiseptic, sutures, tools meant for humans, for normal injuries, for a world that made sense. They felt like toys now. She looked at her hands again. The glow was fading, but the heat remained. Waiting. Ready. Outside, Kyle went down. Lena's heart stopped. Victor had him pinned, jaws locked around his throat, shaking him like a rag doll. Kael's hands scrabbled uselessly against black fur. His face was gray. His eyes were dimming. He was dying. Lena ran. She didn't remember opening the door, didn't remember crossing the porch or hitting the snow. 1 second she was inside, and the next she was in the middle of the battlefield with her hands on Victor's fur and that heat pouring out of her like a broken dam. Victor screamed and released Kael. The black wolf twisted away from her, shifted human, and stared at his hands. The blisters were worse this time, deep, charred, smoking in the frozen air. "You little—" Lena didn't let him finish. She grabbed his wrist, felt the heat surge again, and watched his eyes go wide with something that looked like genuine fear. Then someone hit her from behind. She went down hard, face first into the snow. Weight crushed her spine, claws dug into her shoulders. A wolf snarled in her ear. Victor's wolf, she realized distantly, not Kael's. And she felt hot breath on her neck. This was it. This was how she died. The weight vanished. Lena rolled over, gasping, and saw Kael standing over her in wolf form. Massive, gray-silver fur matted with blood, eyes blazing yellow gold. He'd shifted. The change must have cost him everything he had left, because he swayed on his feet, but he didn't go down. He planted himself between Lena and Victor's pack and snarled a challenge that shook the trees. The other wolves hesitated. Victor laughed. Still human, still smoking. "Look at you, playing hero for a human. How far you've fallen, Kael." Kael's only answer was another snarl. "She's not worth it," Victor continued. "Whatever she is, whatever power she's got, it's wasted on you. Give her to me. I'll make better use of her." Kael lunged. Victor shifted and met him halfway. They collided in midair, a tangle of fur and fury, and hit the ground rolling. The other wolves surged forward, Victor's pack trying to help their alpha, Kael's pack trying to protect theirs. Lena scrambled to her feet, dizzy, bleeding from a dozen shallow cuts. Her hands were shaking. The heat was gone now, burned out, leaving her hollow and cold. She'd used it all, and it hadn't been enough. Mara appeared beside her, human form, covered in blood that probably wasn't all hers. "We need to retreat." "We can't leave Kael. He's giving us time to run. Don't waste it." Mara grabbed Lena's arm. "Come on! I'm not— You're the reason we're losing." Mara's grip tightened, claws pricking skin. "Victor wants you. As long as you're here, his pack won't stop. So either you run, or you watch everyone die protecting you. Your choice." Lena looked at Kael, at the gray wolf fighting 3 of Victor's at once, bleeding from wounds that should have killed him already. Still fighting, still protecting her. "Fine," she whispered. "Let's go." Mara shifted and ran. Lena followed, stumbling through the snow, her lungs burning. Behind them, the sounds of battle faded but didn't stop. They ran until Lena's legs gave out. She collapsed against a tree, gasping, her vision graying at the edges. Mara shifted back to human and crouched beside her. "Can you walk?" "Give me a minute." "We don't have a minute. Victor's scouts will track us." "Then leave me." "Kael would kill me." "Kael's going to die back there because of me." Mara didn't argue. She just looked at Lena with something that might have been pity or might have been contempt. Hard to tell. "What are you?" Mara asked quietly. "I don't know." "That's not good enough." "It's all I have." Lena pushed herself upright, wincing. "I was adopted, no records, no history. I didn't even know magic was real until yesterday." "But you used it." "I didn't mean to." "Doesn't matter, you did. And now Victor knows what you are. He'll hunt you until he has you or you're dead." "Why? What does he want with me?" Mara hesitated. "Healers are rare. Powerful ones even more so. If he controls you, he controls life and death for his pack. Makes him unstoppable." "I'm not that powerful." "You burned him. Twice. With your bare hands." Mara's expression hardened. "Trust me. You're that powerful." Lena stared at her hands. They looked normal now. Ordinary. Human. They felt like weapons. "What if I can't control it?" she asked. "Then we're all dead." Footsteps crunched through the snow. Lena and Mara both tensed, but it was one of Kael's wolves, a younger male, barely more than a teenager in human years. "Mara,"
he panted. They're coming. Victor's pulling back. But he's got Kyle. Lena's blood turned to ice. What? They took him, shifted him back to human and dragged him off. I tried to follow, but... Which direction? Mara demanded. South, toward the old quarry. Mara cursed. That's Victor's territory. We have to go after him, Lena said. We can't. It's a trap. I don't care. You should. Victor wants you. He took Kyle to draw you out. The second you cross into his territory, you're his. So what? We just leave Kyle to die?
We regroup, plan, figure out. There's no time. Lena grabbed Mara's arm. You said it yourself. Victor will kill him. Eventually, but not yet. He'll use Kyle as bait first. That's supposed to make me feel better? Mara pulled free. It's supposed to keep you alive long enough to be useful. The younger wolf shifted nervously. Mara, the pack's scattered. Half of them are wounded. If we don't do something soon, I know. Mara looked at Lena. Can you fight? I'm a medic, not a soldier. Can you use that power again? Lena thought about it, tried to feel for that heat, that energy, found nothing but exhaustion. I don't think so. Then you're useless. I can still help. I can heal. With what? Your kit's back at the cabin. Your hands are empty. You can barely stand. Mara's voice was flat, cold. Face it, you're a liability. The words hit like a slap. Lena wanted to argue, wanted to prove her wrong, but Mara was right. She was exhausted, unarmed, untrained. A human in a world of predators, worse than useless. Dangerous. So what do I do? She asked quietly. Mara studied her for a long moment. Then she sighed. You stay alive. That's all Kyle would want. Kyle would want me to save him. Kyle would want you safe. You don't know that. I've known him for 20 years. I know. Mara turned to the younger wolf. Take her to the safe house, the one near the northern ridge. Don't let her out of your sight. What about you? The kid asked. I'm going after Kyle. Alone? I'm not asking permission. The kid looked like he wanted to argue but didn't. He just nodded and shifted. Mara turned back to Lena. Don't do anything stupid, she said. Like what? Like trying to be a hero. You're not Pack. You're not a fighter. You're just a human who got unlucky. Mara's expression softened just slightly. Stay hidden. Stay quiet. And maybe you'll live long enough for this to be over. Then she shifted and disappeared into the trees. Lena stood there, alone except for the kid in wolf form waiting at her feet, and felt something ugly twist in her chest. Not fear. Rage. She wasn't useless. She wasn't just some human who got unlucky. She'd saved Kyle's life. Twice. She'd burned Victor. She'd done nothing that mattered, because Kyle was still captured, the pack was still scattered, and she was still running. Come on, the kid said, his voice muffled, half growl, but understandable. We need to move. Lena followed. The safe house was a cave. Not even a nice cave. Just a crack in the mountainside barely wide enough for Lena to squeeze through, opening into a space the size of a walk-in closet. Cold, dark, smelling of wet stone and old fear. The kid shifted back to human once they were inside. He was younger than Lena had thought, maybe 19, with shaggy brown hair and a face full of freckles that made him look even younger. I'm Finn, he said. Lena. I know, everyone knows. Finn pulled a blanket from a pile in the corner and handed it to her. It's not much, but it's safe. Victor's pack doesn't come this far north. Why not? Old boundaries, pack law. There are places even alphas don't cross without declaring war. Isn't that what this is? War? Finn hesitated. Not officially, not yet. Right now it's just raids, skirmishes, testing. People are dying. Yeah, but it's not war until one side claims the other's territory. That's the line. Finn sat down against the wall, wincing. He had claw marks across his ribs, deep ones. Lena moved before she thought about it. Let me see. I'm fine. You're bleeding. I heal fast. Not fast enough. She knelt beside him, examining the wounds. They were bad, worse than he was letting on. Do you have any supplies here? Some. In the bag. Lena found a first aid kit that looked like it had been assembled by someone who'd never actually treated an injury. Gauze, duct tape, a bottle of whiskey. This is terrible, she muttered. It works. Barely. She poured whiskey over the wounds. Finn hissed, but didn't pull away. This is going to need stitches. Can't. We don't have... I know, so we improvise. Lena tore strips from the cleanest gauze she could find and started binding the wounds. Not proper, not sterile, but better than nothing. Finn watched her work. You're good at this. I've had practice. How long have you been a medic? 6 years. 3 in the field, 3 in the ER. Why'd you stop? Lena's hands paused. I didn't stop. I just needed space. From what? Everything. She tied off the last bandage. There. That'll hold until you can shift and heal properly. Thanks. Finn flexed his side, testing. Mara was wrong, you know. About what? You're not useless. Lena smiled bitterly. I'm sitting in a cave while Kael's being tortured. That feels pretty useless. You kept him alive long enough to fight. That's not nothing. It's not enough. Finn didn't argue. He just pulled the blanket tighter and closed his eyes. Get some rest. Mara will come back for us when it's safe. What if she doesn't? She will. She always does. Lena wanted to believe him, but the way he said it, automatic, reflexive, like a prayer he'd repeated so many times it had lost meaning, made her think he was trying to convince himself more than her. She sat against the opposite wall and pulled her own blanket around her shoulders. The cave was cold. Her hands were still shaking. And somewhere out there, Kael was paying the price for her weakness. She closed her eyes and felt that heat stir again. Faint, distant, but there, waiting. She dreamed. Not a normal dream. Something deeper, older. A memory that wasn't hers but felt like it should be. She stood in a forest, not the mountain forest outside the cave, somewhere older, wilder, where the trees grew so thick the sky disappeared. A woman stood in front of her, tall, dark-haired, eyes the same color as Lena's. You ran, the woman said. I don't know you, Lena replied. Yes, you do. Who are you? The woman smiled. Your beginning, your end, the reason you burn. She reached out, touched Lena's chest, and the heat exploded through her like wildfire. You can't run from this. You can only choose what you do with it. I don't want it. Liar. Lena tried to pull away, but the woman's hand stayed pressed against her heart. The heat grew hotter, brighter, until Lena thought she'd burn alive. Let go, she gasped. Make me. And Lena did. She didn't know how, didn't think, just reached for that heat, that power, and shoved. The woman flew backward, slammed into a tree, and laughed. There it is. There's the fire. What do you want from me? I want you to stop pretending you're weak. The woman stood, brushing bark from her clothes. I want you to stop running. I want you to burn the world if that's what it takes to survive. I'm not a killer. Not yet. Never. The woman's smile faded. Then you'll die. And everyone you care about will die with you. Because this world doesn't reward mercy. Little spark. It rewards strength. She stepped closer. So what will you be? Weak and kind, or strong and alive? I can be both. No, the woman said softly. You really can't. She touched Lena's face. And Lena woke up screaming. Finn was beside her instantly, human form, hands on her shoulders. Hey, you're okay. It's just a dream. Lena couldn't stop shaking. It wasn't a dream. What? It was a memory, or a warning. She looked at her hands. They were glowing again, bright, hot. The cave walls reflected the light back at her. Finn stared. How are you doing that? I don't know. Can you stop? I don't know. The glow intensified. Heat poured off her skin. Finn scrambled backward, eyes wide. Lena! I'm trying. Try harder. She closed her eyes, tried to pull the power back, to shove it down, to make it stop. But it didn't want to stop. It wanted out. It wanted to burn, just like the woman said. I can't, Lena whispered. And then she heard it. A voice. Not the woman's. Kael's. Faint. Distant. Barely there. Let it out. What? Stop fighting it. Let it out. I'll hurt someone. You'll hurt yourself if you don't. Trust me. Let it out. Lena opened her eyes, looked at her glowing hands, at Finn pressed against the cave wall, terrified but not running, and she let go. The power exploded outward, not violently, not destructively, just out. A wave of heat and light that filled the cave, spilled through the entrance and shot into the night sky like a flare. Then it was gone. Lena sagged forward, gasping. The glow faded. The heat vanished. She felt hollow, empty, like she'd poured herself out and had nothing left. Finn crawled over to her. Are you okay? No. That was... I know. Everyone within 100 miles just saw that. I know. Victor's going to come for you. I know. Lena looked at him, vision blurring with exhaustion. I can't control it, Finn. I don't even know what it is. Then we need to leave. Now, before... Howls echoed through the night. Close. Too close. Finn's face went pale. They're already here. Lena tried to stand. Failed. Her legs wouldn't hold her. Run. I'm not leaving you. You have to. No. Finn shifted to wolf form, positioned himself between Lena and the cave entrance. I'm not leaving you. The howls grew louder, and Lena, sitting in the darkness with a kid too young to die protecting her, made a decision. She wasn't going to run anymore. If Victor wanted her, he could have her. But not without a fight. She pressed her hand against the cave floor, reached for that heat one more time, and felt it answer. Weak, flickering. But there. Enough. The wolves reached the cave entrance. 6 of them, Victor's pack, eyes glowing in the darkness. One shifted. A woman. Scarred. Cruel smile. The healer, she said. Victor wants you alive, the boy we can kill. Finn snarled. The woman laughed. Brave, stupid, but brave. Lena stood. It took everything she had, but she stood. You want me? She said. Come get me. The woman's smile widened. With pleasure. She shifted and lunged. Lena didn't move. She just pressed her glowing hand against the cave wall and brought the whole mountain down on them. The mountain didn't just shake. It roared. Stone cracked like thunder. The cave ceiling split open, chunks of rock the size of cars crashing down. Lena felt the ground lurch beneath her feet, felt that impossible heat pouring out of her palms and into the mountain itself. And for one terrible moment, she thought she'd killed them all. Then Finn's jaws clamped around her jacket and dragged her backward. They tumbled out of the cave entrance just as the whole thing collapsed inward. Dust exploded into the night air. The wolves, Victor's wolves, vanished under tons of stone and earth, their howls cut off mid-scream. Silence. Lena lay in the snow, gasping, her hands smoking. Finn shifted back to human and stared at the rubble. You just... He couldn't finish the sentence. I didn't mean to. You collapsed a mountain. I panicked. That's not panic, that's... He looked at her, and she saw fear in his eyes. Real fear. Not of Victor's pack. Of her. What the hell are you? Lena didn't answer. She didn't have one. Her hands had stopped glowing, but she could still feel the heat underneath, simmering, waiting, like something alive that had tasted freedom and wanted more. We need to move, Finn said, his voice shaking. That collapse. Everyone heard it. Victor, Kyle's pack. Everyone. Good. Good? Lena pushed herself to her feet. Her legs wobbled but held. Victor took Kyle. He's using him as bait. So let's give him what he wants. That's suicide. Probably. Lena. I'm done hiding, Finn. She looked at the collapsed cave, at the 6 wolves she'd just buried alive, and felt nothing, no guilt, no horror, just cold, hard certainty. Victor wants me? He can have me. On my terms. Finn stared at her. You're serious? Dead serious. Mara said, Mara's not here, and Kyl's running out of time. Lena started walking south, toward Victor's territory, toward the quarry. You coming or not? Finn hesitated. Then he cursed under his breath and shifted. The brown wolf fell into step beside her. They walked into enemy territory together. The forest changed as they moved south. The trees grew twisted, their branches bare and skeletal, even though it was still months until spring. The snow turned gray like something had leached the color out of it. And the silence, it wasn't peaceful. It was the kind of silence that came right before something attacked. Lena felt eyes on her, watching, waiting. How far to the quarry? She asked. Finn shifted just long enough to answer. 2 miles, maybe less. He shifted back, ears flat against his skull. What's wrong? He growled low in his throat. A warning. Lena stopped walking. Finn? Shapes materialized from the trees. Wolves, dozens of them, forming a circle that tightened with each breath. Not attacking, just surrounding. Finn pressed against Lena's legs, teeth bared. One of the wolves shifted. A man this time, older than Victor, with silver hair and scars that looked like they'd been earned the hard way. The healer, he said. His voice was smoke and gravel. Victor said you'd come. Didn't expect it to be this easy. Where is he with them? Lena demanded. Close. Waiting. The man smiled. He's very interested in meeting you, especially after that little display back at the cave. I want to see Kyle. I'm sure you do. Unfortunately, that's not how this works. He gestured, and the circle tightened further. You'll come with us. The boy can run home. Victor has no use for pups. Finn snarled. Or, the man continued, the boy can fight and die. Your choice. Lena looked at Finn, at the kid who'd stayed when he should have run, who'd protected her when she was useless. Go. Finn shook his head. Go, Finn, please. I'm not leaving you. You'll die if you stay. Then I die. He shifted human just long enough to look her in the eye. You saved Kyle. You're Pack now, and Pack doesn't abandon Pack. The words hit harder than they should have. Lena had never been Pack, never been part of anything except the job, the shifts, the endless rotation of strangers whose lives she tried to save. She'd chosen isolation, safety, distance, and this kid, this 19-year-old she'd known for all of 3 hours, was willing to die for her. Touching, the silver-haired man said, but pointless. Take them both. The wolves closed in. Lena didn't reach for the heat this time. She grabbed it, seized it, dragged it up from wherever it lived inside her and threw it outward like a weapon. Light exploded from her hands. Not fire, not lightning. Just pure burning light that hit the wolves like a physical force. They yelped and scattered, temporarily blinded. Even Finn staggered back. Run! Lena shouted. She didn't wait to see if he listened. She just ran, crashing through the underbrush, her lungs burning. Behind her, the wolves recovered and gave chase. Finn appeared beside her, wolf form again, matching her pace. His eyes said, I told you I wasn't leaving. They burst out of the trees into a clearing and stopped. The quarry spread out before them like a wound in the earth, massive, deep, ringed with machinery left to rust decades ago. And at the bottom, tied to a metal post with silver chains that glowed faintly in the moonlight, was Kyle. He looked half dead. His head hung forward, hair matted with blood. His chest rose and fell in shallow gasps. The silver chains had burned into his skin, leaving blackened marks that smoked. Victor stood beside him, human form, arms crossed, waiting. There she is, he called up. Right on time. Lena's hands clenched into fists. Let him go. Come down here and make me. I will. I'm counting on it. Victor smiled. See, I've been very patient. Waited for you to come to me instead of hunting you down. Figured you'd be more cooperative if you thought you had a choice.
This isn't a choice, it's a trap. Obviously, but you're still here, aren't you? He kicked Kale's leg. Kale didn't react. Your alpha's dying, healer. Cursed silver's eating him from the inside out. I give him maybe another hour before it reaches his heart. Victor's smile widened. Unless you save him. Lena looked at the quarry, at the narrow path that spiraled down to the bottom, at the wolves lining the edges, blocking every escape route. Finn shifted human. Don't. It's what he wants. I know. Then don't give it to him. What choice do I have? We go back, get Mara, get the pack. Kale doesn't have time for that. Lena started down the path. Stay here. Lena, that's an order. You're not my alpha. No, but I'm asking anyway. Finn grabbed her arm. You go down there, you don't come back up. Maybe. Definitely. Lena pulled free. Then I guess you'll have to tell Mara I died doing something stupid. She descended before he could argue. The path was treacherous, narrow, icy, littered with debris. Lena kept her eyes on Kyle, on the rise and fall of his chest, and tried not to think about the wolves watching her every step. Victor waited at the bottom, still smiling. Brave, he said when she reached him. Or stupid. Hard to tell the difference sometimes. Lena ignored him. She dropped to her knees beside Kyle and pressed her hand against his chest. His skin was burning up. The silver chains had poisoned him, spreading corruption through his bloodstream like ink in water. Kyle, she whispered. Can you hear me? His eyes cracked open, yellow, dimmed almost to brown. You shouldn't have come. Shut up. He'll kill you. He'll try. Lena looked at the chains. I need to get these off you. Can't. Silver burns. I know. She reached for the chains anyway. Victor's hand closed around her wrist. Not yet. Lena looked up at him. What do you want? Information, cooperation, loyalty. He crouched beside her, still holding her wrist. You're powerful, healer. More powerful than you know. I can help you understand that power. Control it. Use it. I don't want your help. You will. Eventually. Victor released her wrist and stood. But first, a demonstration, so you understand what you're dealing with. He nodded to someone Lena couldn't see. A woman stepped out of the shadows. Old, ancient, maybe, with white hair and eyes that were solid black. No iris. No pupil. Just darkness. Lena's skin crawled. Who is that? My witch, Victor said. The one who made the cursed silver. The one who's been helping me hunt your precious alpha. The witch smiled. It was the worst thing Lena had ever seen. Hello, little spark, the witch said, her voice like dry leaves. I've been waiting to meet you. I don't know you. No. But I know you. Know what you are. What you could be. The witch moved closer, and the air around her seemed to darken. You come from old blood, child, the kind that burned cities and toppled kingdoms, the kind that should have died out centuries ago. I don't know what you're talking about. Liar. The witch touched Lena's face. Her fingers were ice cold. I can smell it on you. Taste it. You're descended from the Ember line, the last of them, unless I'm mistaken. The what? Healers who could also destroy. Protectors who became executioners. They were hunted to extinction 300 years ago because people feared what they could do. The witch's smile widened. But here you are, proof that some bloodlines refuse to die. Lena jerked back. You're lying. Am I? Then explain how you collapsed a mountain, how you burned Victor, how you healed a cursed wound that should have killed your alpha. The witch circled her like a predator. You're not just a healer, little spark. You're a weapon, and Victor wants to own you. Never. We'll see. The witch raised her hand, fingers twisting in a pattern that made Lena's eyes hurt to follow. The air shimmered. Reality bent. And then Lena couldn't breathe. It felt like invisible hands were crushing her throat. She clawed at nothing, gasping, her vision graying. The heat inside her surged up in response, trying to fight back, but the witch just laughed. Fight all you want, the witch said. It won't help. I've bound stronger things than you. Lena's knees hit the ground. She tried to reach for Kael, to touch him, to do something, but her arms wouldn't move. Stop, Kael rasped. Leave her alone. Victor knelt beside him. Give me your pack, and I will. Go to hell. Already there. Victor grabbed Kael's hair, forced his head up. Your wolves are scattered. Your territory is undefended. Your second in command is running around the mountains playing hero. You've already lost, Kael. Just admit it. Never. Then watch her die. The witch tightened her spell. Lena's vision went dark at the edges. Her lungs screamed for air. The heat inside her thrashed like a caged animal, desperate, but she couldn't reach it, couldn't use it. She was going to die here. And then she heard it again. That voice, the woman from her dream. Stop pretending you're weak. I'm not, Lena gasped. Burn the world if that's what it takes to survive. I can't. You can. You just have to choose. Lena closed her eyes. She stopped fighting the witch's spell and turned inward, dove deep into that heat, that power, and found it waiting. Not trapped, not caged. Coiled. Ready. She opened her eyes and chose. The heat exploded outward so violently it shattered the witch's spell like glass. Lena sucked in air, her lungs burning, and stood. Her hands were glowing again, brighter than before, hot enough that the snow around her feet melted instantly. The witch staggered back. Impossible. Guess again. Lena lunged. She grabbed the witch's wrist, felt the heat pour into her, and watched the old woman's eyes go wide with shock. Then fear, then pain. The witch screamed and tried to pull away, but Lena held on. You wanted to see what I could do? Lena's voice didn't sound like her own. Here it is. She burned. Not literally, no flames, no smoke. But the heat poured into the witch like poison, unraveling whatever dark magic held her together. The witch's skin began to crack, light bleeding through the fractures. Please, the witch gasped. Stop. Lena didn't stop. She burned until the witch collapsed, until the darkness in her eyes faded to empty white, until there was nothing left but a husk that crumbled to ash. Then she let go. The quarry went silent. Lena stood over the ashes, hands still glowing, and looked at Victor. Your turn. Victor's smile was gone. He looked at her like he'd never seen her before. What are you? You tell me. You're the one who wanted me. I wanted a healer, not... He gestured at the ashes. Not that. Too late. Lena moved toward him. Victor shifted instantly, the black wolf lunging for her throat. She didn't dodge, just grabbed his fur and let the heat do the rest. Victor yelped and twisted away, smoking. He shifted back to human, staring at his blistered hands. You're insane. Maybe. Lena knelt beside Kael and grabbed the silver chains. They burned her palms, searing flesh, but she didn't let go. Just gripped tighter and poured heat into them until the metal glowed red, then white, then melted. The chains fell away. Kael slumped forward. Lena caught him, her hands leaving scorch marks on his skin. I've got you. You're burning me, he muttered. Sorry. Don't be. Feels better than the silver. Victor's wolves closed in, forming a circle around them. Victor himself shifted back to wolf form, teeth bared. Lena stood, pulling Kael upright with her. You want to try again? Victor growled. Didn't think so. Lena looked at the wolves surrounding them. He took your alpha, tortured him, used cursed silver and dark magic because he was too weak to fight fair, and you followed him anyway. The wolves didn't move. So here's your choice, Lena continued. Keep following a coward, or let us walk out of here and pretend this never happened. They'll never let us go, Kael said quietly. They will if they're smart. Victor lunged. Lena didn't hesitate. She threw her hand out, and a wall of heat slammed into him mid-leap. The black wolf hit the ground hard, smoking, whimpering. Anyone else? Lena asked. The wolves backed away. Victor struggled to his feet, shifted human, his skin covered in burns. This isn't over. Yes, Lena said quietly. It is. She pulled Kael's arm over her shoulders and started walking. Up the path.
past the watching wolves, out of the quarry. No one stopped them. Finn appeared at the top, human form, eyes wide. How? Later. Lena's legs were shaking. The heat was fading fast, leaving her hollow. We need to move, before Victor changes his mind. They moved. They made it half a mile before Lena collapsed. Her legs just gave out. 1 second she was walking, the next she was on her knees in the snow, the world spinning. Finn caught Kyle before he fell too. Lena, I'm fine. You're not fine, you're... Finn looked at her hands. They were blistered, bleeding, the skin charred black in places. What did you do? What I had to. Kyle sank down beside her. He looked better. The silver burns were fading, his color returning, but he was still weak. You killed a witch. She was trying to kill me first. That's not how it works. Witches don't die easily, and the ones who use dark magic... He shook his head. You shouldn't have been able to do that. Well, I did. I know. That's what scares me. Lena looked at him. Are you afraid of me? Kyle met her eyes. Terrified. Good. That makes 2 of us. He almost smiled. Then his expression darkened. Victor's not going to let this go. You humiliated him in front of his pack. He'll come for you. Let him. Lena, I'm done running, Kale. Done hiding. Done pretending I'm something I'm not. She looked at her ruined hands. I don't know what I am, but I know what I'm not. And I'm not weak. I never thought you were. Your pack does. My pack doesn't know you. Do you? Kyle hesitated. I'm starting to. Footsteps crunched through the snow. Finn shifted instantly, putting himself between them and whoever was coming. But it was Mara, human form, covered in blood, and looking like she'd fought her way through hell. She stopped when she saw them. You're alive, she said. Barely, Kale replied. I went to the quarry, saw what was left. Mara's gaze locked on Lena. You killed Victor's witch. Yes. How? I don't know. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have. Mara stared at her for a long moment. Then she looked at Kyle. The pack's asking questions. They saw the light, felt the power. They know something happened. What are you telling them? Kyle asked. Nothing yet. Mara's jaw tightened. But they're scared, Kale. Of her, of what she can do. She saved my life. By doing something that should be impossible. Mara crouched beside them. I need to know what we're dealing with. Is she a threat to the pack? No. Are you sure? Yes. Even after what she just did? Kyle looked at Lena, at her burned hands, her exhausted face, the way she could barely sit upright. Especially after what she just did. Mara didn't look convinced, but she nodded. Fine. Your call, Alpha. It is. Then we need to move. Victor's wolves are regrouping. We have maybe an hour before they come after us. Kale tried to stand, failed, cursed. I can't. I know. Mara shifted to wolf form, positioned herself beside him. Get on. I'm too heavy. I'm stronger than I look. Move. Kale climbed onto her back with Finn's help. Mara staggered, but held. Lena tried to stand and couldn't. Her legs were done. Her hands were useless. The heat inside her had burned itself out completely. I can't walk, she admitted. Finn shifted. Then don't. He crouched and Lena climbed onto his back. The kid grunted under her weight but didn't complain. They moved through the forest like ghosts, 2 wolves carrying their burdens through enemy territory, racing against time and Victor's inevitable retaliation. Lena closed her eyes and felt the cold wind on her face. She'd won. She'd saved Kyle, killed the witch, and walked out of Victor's trap alive. So why did it feel like she'd just lost something she'd never get back? They reached the northern ridge just as dawn broke. The rest of Kyle's pack was waiting. Dozens of wolves, scattered and wounded, but alive. When they saw Kyle, a howl went up. Relief, joy, loyalty made sound. Then they saw Lena. The howling stopped. Mara and Finn carried them into the center of the gathering.
Kael slid off Mara's back, stood on shaking legs, and addressed his pack. Victor took me, he said. His voice was rough but strong. Used cursed silver and dark magic to break me. He would have succeeded, but this woman, he gestured to Lena, this human saved me, not once, twice. She walked into enemy territory alone, faced Victor's witch, and brought me home. The pack murmured. Not hostile, but not friendly either. One of the older wolves shifted. She used magic. To save my life, Kael said. Magic that shouldn't exist, that hasn't existed in 300 years. And yet, here she is. That's the problem. The wolf's eyes were hard. What is she, Kael? Really? She's pack. Silence. You can't be serious, someone muttered. I am. She's human. She's more than that. Exactly. And we don't know what that more is. Don't know if we can trust it. Kael's eyes flashed yellow. I trust her. That's all you need to know. With respect, Alpha, it's not. The older wolf stepped forward. You're asking us to accept someone who can collapse mountains and kill witches with her bare hands. Someone who might be descended from a bloodline that was hunted to extinction for good reason, or for fear. Fear exists for a reason. So does trust. The wolf shook his head. I'm sorry, Kael, but until we know what she is, until we know she's not a threat, some of us can't accept her. Then leave. The words fell like stones. The wolf stared. What? Leave. Anyone who can't trust my judgment, who can't see that Lena saved us, is free to go. I won't stop you. Kael's voice was quiet, deadly. But understand this. She stays. Under my protection. As pack. And anyone who challenges, that challenges me. No one moved. Decide, Kael said. The older wolf looked around at the pack, at the faces watching him, then back at Kael. I've followed you for 20 years, he said quietly. Trusted every decision you've made, even the ones I didn't understand. He looked at Lena. I'll trust this one too, for now. He shifted back to wolf form and lay down. Submitted. One by one, the rest of the pack followed, except one. A young wolf, barely more than Finn's age, stood at the edge of the gathering. His eyes were locked on Lena, and what she saw there wasn't fear. It was hatred. This is wrong, the young wolf said. She's not one of us. She'll never be one of us. And you're making a mistake trusting her. Your opinion is noted, Kael said. Is it? Because it seems like you've already decided. The wolf's lip curled. You've gone soft, Kael. Weak. Choosing a human over your own kind. Kael moved faster than Lena could track. 1 second he was standing beside her, the next, he had the young wolf pinned to the ground, hand around his throat. Say that again, Kael growled. The wolf struggled, failed. You're proving my point. No, I'm giving you a choice. Accept my decision, or leave the pack. I'm not leaving. Then accept it. The wolf glared up at him. She'll betray you. You'll see. Kael released him. Get out of my sight. The wolf scrambled away, shifted, and disappeared into the trees. The rest of the pack watched in silence. Kael turned back to them. Anyone else? No one spoke. Good. He looked at Mara. Get them organized. We need to fortify the Northern Territory before Victor regroups. Mara nodded and started barking orders. The pack scattered, moving with purpose now, fear replaced by action. Kael walked back to Lena. She was still on the ground, too exhausted to stand. That went well, she said. Could have been worse. How? They could have all left. Lena looked at the forest where the young wolf had disappeared. He's right, you know. I'm not one of you. You saved my life. That makes you pack. Does it? Or does it make me a liability you can't afford to lose? Kael crouched beside her. What do you want me to say? The truth. The truth is, I don't know what you are. Don't know what you can do or how far your power goes. He met her eyes. But I know you chose to save me when you could have run, could have let me die. You chose to fight. That's pack. Even if I'm dangerous,
Especially then. Lena wanted to believe him, but the way his pack had looked at her, the fear, the suspicion, made it hard. "What happens now?" she asked. "Now we prepare for war, because Victor's not done. And neither are we. And me? You figure out what you are, what you can do, and you decide if you're going to use it to help us or—" He stopped. "Or what?" "Or walk away, before this gets worse." Lena looked at him, at the man who'd been a wolf bleeding out on her porch just 2 days ago, the alpha who'd trusted her when no one else would. She thought about running, about leaving this mountain, this pack, this impossible world behind, and she couldn't do it. "I'm not going anywhere," she said. Cale smiled faintly. "Didn't think so." He stood, offered his hand. She took it, and that's when the young wolf who'd left came crashing back through the trees, screaming. "They're coming! Victor's pack! Hundreds of them! They're coming!" Cale's face went white. "How long?" "Minutes. Maybe less. The wolf's eyes went wide. He looked at Lena. "They're not after territory. They're after her." Every wolf in the clearing turned to stare at Lena. And she knew, with terrible certainty, that this was only the beginning. The forest exploded with movement. Kael's pack scattered instantly, some shifting, others already in wolf form, fanning out to defensive positions. Mara barked orders, her voice cutting through the chaos like a blade. Finn positioned himself in front of Lena, teeth bared, every muscle coiled. Lena stayed where she was, on the ground, exhausted, burned out, useless. "How many?" Kael demanded. The young wolf who'd brought the warning was still panting. "I counted 50, maybe more. They're moving fast, coordinated." "That's half Victor's pack," Mara said. "He's committing everything." "Because he knows we're weak." Kael's jaw tightened. "We've got maybe 30 wolves who can fight. Half of them are wounded. We can't hold against those numbers." "Then we run." "To where?" "He'll hunt us down." "So we make a stand here and die?" Mara's voice was sharp. "That's your plan?" "I don't have a plan." The words hung in the frozen air. Lena had never heard Kael sound like that, desperate, cornered, out of options. It was worse than seeing him bleeding out on her porch. This was an alpha with no moves left. Lena pushed herself to her feet. Her legs shook but held. "How long do we have?" "Minutes," Mara said. 5 at most. Then we don't have time to run." Lena looked at her hands. The burns were already healing, slowly, painfully, but healing. The heat underneath was still there, weak, flickering, but present. "We fight." "With what?" Mara gestured at the scattered pack. "Half of us can't even shift properly. Kael's barely standing. You've burned yourself out twice. We're done." "No, we're not." "Lena, Victor's coming for me, right? Not territory, not dominance, me." Lena met Kael's eyes. "So give him what he wants." "Absolutely not," Kael said. "Listen to me. He wants me because I'm powerful, because I killed his witch, because he thinks he can control me." Lena's hands clenched into fists. "So let him try. That's suicide." "It's a distraction. Victor focuses on me. You hit him from the sides, divide his attention, break his formation." Mara stared at her. "You want to use yourself as bait." "Yes, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard." "Got a better idea?" Mara opened her mouth, closed it, looked at Kael. Kael's expression was unreadable. "You can barely stand." "I know." "If Victor gets his hands on you, he won't, because you'll stop him." Lena stepped closer. "You said I was pack. Prove it. Trust me." "I do trust you. That's why I can't—" "Kael." Lena grabbed his arm. "We're out of time, out of options. This is the only play we have." The sound of howling rose in the distance, close, too close. Kael looked at her for a long moment. Then he turned to Mara. "Get everyone in position. Hit and run tactics. Don't engage directly unless you have to." "And her?" "She stays with me." "Kael." "That's an order." Mara's jaw worked, but she nodded. She shifted and took off, the rest of the pack following. Within seconds, they'd melted into the trees, leaving Lena and Kael alone in the clearing. You're not going to let me be bait, Lena said. No. Then what's the plan? We fight. Together. Cale shifted his stance and Lena saw the pain flash across his face. He was still weak, still wounded. The cursed silver had taken more out of him than he was letting on. You can barely move, she said. I'll manage. You're going to get yourself killed. Probably. He smiled faintly. But at least I'll die fighting instead of running. That's not. The first wolves burst into the clearing. Victor's pack, massive, coordinated, moving like a single organism. They formed a semicircle around Lena and Kyle, cutting off every escape route. Then Victor himself stepped out of the trees. Human form. Covered in fresh burns from their last encounter, but standing, smiling. Hello again, he said. Miss me? Cale moved in front of Lena. You're making a mistake. Am I? Because from where I'm standing, I've got you cornered, your pack scattered, and the healer right where I want her. Victor's smile widened. Seems like a win to me. You lost your witch. I did, thanks to her. Victor's eyes locked on Lena. Which is why I'm here. Can't have something that powerful running loose, can I? She's not yours to take. Everything in these mountains is mine. I just haven't claimed it yet. Victor gestured and his wolves moved closer. So here's how this works. You hand over the healer, I let your pack live. Everyone wins, except Lena. She'll be treated well, fed, protected. All she has to do is use her power when I tell her to. You mean become your slave, Lena said. Victor shrugged. Semantics. Go to hell. Eventually, but not today. He nodded to his wolves. Take her. They lunged. Kyle shifted mid-leap, meeting the first wolf head-on. They crashed together, a tangle of gray and black fur, and hit the ground rolling. Two more wolves went for Lena. She didn't run. She pressed her hands into the snow and reached for the heat. It came slowly, reluctantly, like trying to start a fire with wet kindling, but it came. Light flared around her fingers. The wolves skidded to a stop, uncertain. Lena stood, hands glowing, and faced them. Come on, she said. Let's see what I can do. They came. Lena threw her hands forward, and heat exploded outward in a wave. The wolves yelped and scattered, fur smoking. Not badly hurt, just surprised. And that was all the opening Kyle's pack needed. They poured out of the trees, 30 wolves hitting Victor's forces from 3 sides at once. Chaos erupted. The organized formation broke apart. Wolves fought wolves in a storm of teeth and claws and blood. Victor watched it happen, his smile fading. Clever. We try, Kyle said. He'd shifted back to human, bleeding from a new gash across his ribs, but upright. Leave now. This doesn't have to end in slaughter. You're right, it doesn't. Victor shifted to wolf form and went straight for Lena. Cale intercepted him. They collided in midair and the impact shook the ground. Cale was smaller, weaker, still poisoned by cursed silver. Victor was fresh, furious, and bigger. The fight wasn't fair. Kyle went down in seconds. Victor's jaws closed around his throat, not biting through, not yet, just holding. A threat. A promise. Lena felt the heat inside her surge in response. Not controlled, not measured, just raw, burning fury. Let him go, she said. Victor's eyes, yellow, gleaming, met hers. He tightened his grip. Kyle made a choking sound. Lena stopped thinking. She grabbed the heat inside her. All of it, everything she had left, and threw it at Victor like a spear. The black wolf flew backward, released Kyle, and hit a tree hard enough to crack the trunk. He shifted human on impact, coughing, smoking, staring at her with something new in his eyes. Fear. What are you? He gasped. You keep asking that. Lena walked toward him, hands blazing. Maybe you should have figured it out before you started this. Victor scrambled backward. Stay away from me. Why? I thought you wanted me. Not like this. You're wrong. Corrupted. That power isn't healing, it's destruction? Lena crouched in front of him. Yeah, I figured that out. The witch told me. Said I come from a bloodline that burned cities, killed kingdoms. She smiled, and it felt like someone else's expression on her face. You wanted a weapon, Victor. Here I am. I didn't want this. Too late. She pressed her glowing hand against his chest. Victor screamed. The heat poured into him, not burning his skin, but something deeper, something inside. Lena felt it spreading through his bloodstream, his bones, his very core, felt it reaching for whatever made him alpha, whatever made him strong, and strangling it. Stop, Victor begged. Please. A hand grabbed Lena's wrist. Kale. Human form, bleeding, barely standing. That's enough. He tried to kill you. I know. But if you kill him, if you burn him out like you did the witch, his pack will never stop hunting you. Kale's grip tightened, and you'll never forgive yourself. You don't know that. I do, because I know you. His voice was quiet, steady. You're not a killer, Lena. You're a healer. Don't let him turn you into something else. Lena looked at Victor, at the man curled on the ground, smoking, whimpering. She could kill him, easily. Just let the heat burn a little longer, a little deeper, and he'd be gone. Part of her wanted to. The part that had watched him torture Kael. The part that had felt his witch's spell crushing her throat. The part that was tired of running, of hiding, of being afraid. But Kael was right. If she killed Victor now like this, she'd cross a line she couldn't uncross. Lena released him. Victor collapsed, gasping. His skin was blistered, smoking, but he was alive. Get out, Lena said. Take your pack and leave. Don't come back. Victor stared at her. This isn't over. Yes, it is. Lena stood, her hands still glowing. Because if I see you again, if you come near Kael or his pack, I won't stop next time. Understand? Victor didn't answer. He just shifted, barely, painfully, and limped toward his wolves. Fall back, he howled. Now! Victor's pack hesitated. They'd been winning, outnumbering Kael's forces 2-1. But when they saw their alpha retreating, saw the burns covering his body, they broke. Within seconds, they were gone, vanished into the trees like smoke. The clearing fell silent. Kael's pack emerged from the forest, battered and bloody but alive. They stared at Lena, some with awe, some with fear, all with a new kind of respect. Mara shifted to human. Did you just... Yeah, Lena said. Victor never retreats. He does now. Mara looked at Kael. Is she... She's pack, Kael said. His voice was firm, final. Anyone have a problem with that? No one spoke. The older wolf who'd challenged Lena earlier stepped forward. He shifted to human, scarred and gray-haired, and met her eyes. I was wrong about you, he said quietly. You're not a threat. You're... He stopped, searching for the word. You're exactly what we need. I don't know what I am, Lena admitted. Then we'll figure it out together. He bowed his head, a gesture of respect, submission. Welcome to the pack. One by one, the others followed, shifting to human, bowing, accepting her. Even the young wolf who'd hated her before stepped forward, eyes downcast. I'm sorry for what I said, for doubting you. Lena wanted to say something gracious, something noble, but all she could manage was, it's okay. The kid smiled faintly and stepped back. Kael moved beside her, swaying. We should go. Victor might regroup. You think he'll come back? Eventually, but not today. Kael looked at her, and something in his expression made her chest tighten. You saved us. Again. I thought we were past keeping score. We are. I just wanted you to know. Lena felt the heat inside her finally flicker out. Her hands stopped glowing. Her legs turned to water. Kael... She collapsed. Kael caught her before she hit the ground. I've got you. This is getting embarrassing, she muttered. You just fought off 50 wolves and made Victor run. I think you've earned a pass. Finn appeared beside them, shifting to human. Is she okay? She's exhausted, Kael said. Burned herself out completely this time. Will she... She'll be fine. She just needs rest. Kael looked at Mara. Get everyone back to the safe den. Set up a perimeter. I want guards posted in shifts. And you?
Mara asked. I'll take Lena somewhere safe. Where? Somewhere Victor won't think to look.
Mara hesitated, then nodded. She started barking orders, organizing the scattered pack. Within minutes, they were moving, a coordinated retreat carrying their wounded, covering their tracks. Kyle lifted Lena in his arms. She wanted to protest, to say she could walk, but her body had other ideas. Where are we going? She asked. My den. It's hidden, warded. Even if Victor finds it, he can't get in without me. Warded? Like magic? Old pack magic. Different from what the witch used. Kale started walking, moving through the trees with the kind of certainty that came from knowing every rock and root. You'll be safe there. Lena closed her eyes. I almost killed him. I know. I wanted to. I know that too. Does that make me a monster? Kale was quiet for a moment. It makes you someone who's been pushed too far. Someone who's fighting to protect people she cares about. That's not monstrous. That's human. I'm not human. Not entirely. You said it yourself. You're human enough. Kale looked down at her. The power doesn't define you, Lena. What you choose to do with it does. She wanted to believe him, but the memory of her hand on Victor's chest, the feel of his life force unraveling under her touch, it didn't feel human. It felt like something older, darker, waiting. What if I can't control it? She asked. Then we'll figure it out, together. You keep saying that, together, like it's simple. It is simple. You're packed now. That means you're not alone anymore. Not unless you choose to be. Lena opened her eyes. And if I do choose to be? If I decide this is too dangerous, too much? Then I'll let you go. Kale's voice was steady. But I'll hope you don't. They walked in silence after that. The forest around them was quiet. No birds, no wind, just the crunch of snow under Kale's boots. Lena felt herself drifting, exhaustion pulling her under like a tide. Kyle? She murmured. Yeah? Thank you for stopping me, back there with Victor. You would have stopped yourself. I'm not sure I would have. I am. Lena wanted to ask why he was so certain, but sleep dragged her down before she could form the words. The last thing she heard was Kyle's heartbeat, steady, strong, alive. She woke in darkness, not the darkness of night, something deeper, enclosed. Lena sat up, her heart racing, and felt stone beneath her hands. A cave. No, a den. She could smell earth and pine, and something wild she couldn't name. Easy, Kyle's voice came from nearby. You're safe. Lena's eyes adjusted slowly. She was lying on a pile of furs and blankets in what looked like a natural cavern. Small. Warm. A fire burned in the center, casting flickering shadows on the walls. Kyle sat across from her, human form, tending the fire. How long was I out? She asked. 6 hours? Maybe 7. Lena looked at her hands. The burns were gone. The skin was still pink, tender, but healed. How? You heal fast now, faster than you should. Kale poked the fire. Your body's adapting to the power, learning to repair itself. That's not normal. No, but nothing about you is normal anymore. Lena couldn't argue with that. She stood testing her legs. They held, barely. Where are we? My den, about 5 miles north of the main territory. No one knows about it except Mara. Is the pack okay? Wounded, scattered, but alive. Mara's got them organized. Kyle looked at her. They're calling you something. Did you know that? What? The ember, because of the way you burn. Lena sat down by the fire. I'm not sure I like that. Too bad, it's stuck. Kale smiled faintly. Could be worse. They could have called you the witch killer. Don't even joke about that. Who says I'm joking? Lena threw a piece of bark at him. He caught it, still smiling. It was the first time she'd seen him look relaxed since ever. You should rest more, he said. You pushed yourself hard today. So did you. When's the last time you slept? I'll sleep when Victor's dead. That might be a while. Then I guess I'm not sleeping. Lena studied him. The burns on his skin from the cursed silver were fading, but not gone. His eyes were shadowed with exhaustion. He was running on fumes and willpower. "You can't keep this up," she said. "Watch me." "Kale, I'm fine." "You're not fine. Lena stopped, took a breath. "You're allowed to be not fine. You know that, right?" Kale's smile faded. "If I'm not fine, the pack falls apart. That's how it works." "That's how it's supposed to work?" "That's how it is." "That's terrible." "Welcome to being an alpha." Kale poked the fire again. "It's not about strength. It's about never showing weakness, never letting them see you break. Because the moment you do, they lose faith." "Exactly." Lena moved around the fire and sat beside him, close enough to feel the heat coming off his skin. "What if I told you I saw you break back at the quarry, when Victor had you chained, and I didn't lose faith?" "You're not Pac. You keep saying I am." Kyle looked at her, really looked at her. "You saved my life 3 times now. You faced Victor, killed his witch, burned yourself out protecting us. You're more Pac than some wolves I've known for 20 years. But you didn't grow up in this world. You don't understand how it works, how fragile it is. One moment of weakness and everything collapses. Or maybe it doesn't. Maybe that's just what you've been taught. It's not about what I've been taught, it's about what I've seen." Kale's voice hardened. "I've watched alphas fall because they showed mercy, watched packs tear themselves apart because their leader hesitated. This world doesn't reward compassion, Lena. It rewards strength. You sound like Victor, maybe, but at least I'm honest about it." Lena wanted to argue, wanted to tell him he was wrong, but she thought about the way his pack had looked at her, the fear, the suspicion, and knew he wasn't entirely wrong either. "So what do we do?" she asked. "We survive. We rebuild. We make sure Victor doesn't come back." Kale looked at the fire. "And we figure out what you are, what your power really is. Because if Victor knows about the Ember Line, if that witch told him, then others will know too, and they'll come for you." "Great. More people trying to kill me, or control you. That's worse. I know." They sat in silence for a while. The fire crackled. Outside, the wind howled through the trees. "Kyle?" Lena said quietly. "Yeah?" "When I had my hand on Victor's chest, when I was burning him, I felt something." She looked at her hands. It wasn't just power. I could feel his life, like I was holding it, and I knew exactly how to snuff it out. But you didn't, because you stopped me. No, because you chose not to." Kyle turned to face her. "You could have ignored me, could have finished him. But you didn't. That's what matters. What if next time I don't stop? Then I'll stop you. And if you can't, then Mara will. Or Finn. Or someone else." Kale's expression was serious. "You're not alone in this, Lena. You don't have to carry it all yourself." Lena felt something crack inside her chest. Not breaking, opening. "I don't know how to do this," she admitted. "Be Pac. Be powerful. Be whatever I'm becoming. Neither do I. We'll figure it out together." There was that word again. Together. Lena leaned against him, too tired to care if it was appropriate. Kale went still for a moment, then relaxed, letting her weight settle against his shoulder. "Thank you," she said. "For what?" "For not running. When you saw what I could do, what I am. You saved my life. Why would I run?" "Because I'm dangerous." "So am I." Kale's voice was quiet. "We all are. The question is what we do with it." Lena closed her eyes. "I'm scared." "Good. Fear keeps you sharp. What if I hurt someone I care about?" "Then we'll deal with it, but I don't think you will." "How can you be sure?" "Because I've seen you fight, seen you burn, and every single time, you've chosen to protect instead of destroy. That's not an accident. That's who you are." Lena wanted to believe him, wanted to trust that the power inside her could be controlled, directed, used for good. But the memory of Victor's life flickering under her palm said otherwise. Get some sleep, Kael said. Tomorrow we start training. If you're going to have this power, you need to learn how to use it properly. Training? With who? Me. Mara. Anyone in the pack who's willing to help. He looked at her. We'll figure out your limits, what you can do, what you shouldn't do, and we'll make sure you're ready for whatever comes next. You really think we can? I have to, because if we can't, Kael stopped. If we can't, then Victor wins, and I'm not letting that happen. Lena pulled back, met his eyes. You're putting a lot of faith in me. You've earned it. I collapsed a mountain by accident and saved my life on purpose. I'll take the second one. Lena smiled despite herself. You're either very brave or very stupid. Probably both. Kael stood, stretched. Come on, you take the betting. I'll keep watch. You need sleep too. I'll manage. Kael, that's an order, healer. Lena sighed but didn't argue. She was too tired, too drained. She lay down on the furs, and sleep pulled her under almost immediately. But before she went completely, she heard Kael's voice. Quiet. Almost too quiet to hear. You're going to be okay. We both are. And for the first time since the wolf appeared on her porch, Lena believed him. When she woke again, dawn was breaking. Kael was gone, but Mara sat by the fire, human form, watching her. Morning, Mara said. Lena sat up. Where's Kael? Checking the perimeter, making sure Victor didn't leave any scouts. Mara tossed another log on the fire. He asked me to watch you. I don't need a babysitter. Wasn't a request. Lena studied the other woman. Mara looked tired, bone-deep exhaustion that came from too many fights and not enough rest, but her eyes were sharp, alert. You don't trust me, Lena said. I don't trust what you are, Mara corrected. There's a difference. Is there? You killed a witch, burned Victor, collapsed a mountain. That's not normal. That's not even normal for magic users. Mara leaned forward. So yeah, I'm cautious. Fair enough. But Mara's expression softened slightly. You also saved Kael, twice. Protected the pack. Chose not to kill Victor when you could have. She paused. That counts for something. Just something? Don't push it. Lena almost smiled. You really care about him, Kael. He's my alpha, my friend. I followed him for 20 years, so yes, I care. Mara's eyes narrowed. Which is why I'm telling you this. If you hurt him, if you lose control and burn him like you burned Victor, I will kill you. I don't care how powerful you are. Understand? Yes. Good. Mara stood. He's planning to start your training today. Combat, control, strategy. If you're going to be pack, you need to learn how to fight like one of us. I'm not a fighter. You are now. Mara walked to the cave entrance. Get ready, we start in an hour. She left before Lena could respond. Lena sat by the fire, staring at her hands. They looked normal, human, but she could feel the heat underneath, waiting, ready. She'd crossed a line yesterday, used her power not to heal, but to hurt. And it had felt not good exactly, but right, natural, like she'd finally stopped pretending to be something she wasn't. The question was, what was she becoming, and could she live with the answer? Lena stood when Kael returned. He looked worse than when he'd left. Fresh cuts on his face, his shirt torn, moving like every step hurt, but his eyes were sharp. Victor left scouts, he said. 4 of them, watching the den. Did they see you? They won't be reporting back. Kael sat down heavily by the fire. But that means Victor knows where we are. He's planning something. When? Soon. Maybe tonight. Maybe tomorrow. He looked at her. We need you ready. Mara said you're training me. Starting now. Kael stood again, wincing. Come on. They left the den together, stepping out into morning light that hurt Lena's eyes. The forest around them was silent, too silent, like even the birds knew something was coming. Mara waited in a clearing about 50 yards from the den. She'd shifted to human, arms crossed, expression unreadable. About time, she said. Kael gestured to Lena. Show her the basics.
The basics won't help if she can't control the power. Then teach her control first. Mara's jaw tightened, but she nodded. She turned to Lena. Your power responds to emotion, right? Fear, anger, desperation.
Yes. That's a problem. Emotions are unpredictable, unreliable. You need to learn to access it without feeling anything. How? Practice.
Mara pointed at a boulder the size of a car. Heat that. Just heat. Don't break it. Don't melt it. Just warm it. Lena stared at the boulder. That's it? That's it? Seems simple. It's not. Mara's expression was flat. Try. Lena reached for the heat inside her. It came immediately, too fast, too eager, flooding through her veins like wildfire. She tried to slow it down, to control it, but it wanted out. She pressed her hands toward the boulder. Light flared. The boulder didn't just heat, it cracked straight down the middle, both halves glowing white hot. Mara sighed. Too much. I didn't mean to. I know. Try again. They spent the next hour like that. Lena trying to control the power, failing, trying again. Boulders cracked. Trees caught fire. Once, she accidentally melted a patch of snow so fast it turned to steam and scalded Mara's arm. Sorry, Lena gasped. Mara just shifted the burned skin into fur and back, healing it. Again. By the time Kyle called a break, Lena was shaking with exhaustion. She'd managed to warm exactly one rock without destroying it. 1. This is impossible, she muttered, sitting on the ground. It's not, Kyle said. He handed her a canteen. You're just learning. It takes time. We don't have time. Then you learn faster. Lena wanted to argue, but she was too tired. She drank the water and tried to ignore the way her hands were smoking. Finn appeared through the trees, human form, breathing hard. Kael, we've got a problem. What kind of problem? The kind where Victor's entire pack just showed up at our border. Kael went still. How many? All of them. Maybe 100 wolves. They're not attacking, just waiting. For what? You. Finn swallowed. Victor's calling you out. Says if you don't come, he'll slaughter everyone in the territory, starting with the pups. Lena saw Kael's face go white. He wouldn't. He sent proof. Finn held up something small and bloody. A collar. The kind young wolves wore when they were too small to hunt. Kael took it with shaking hands. Where did he get this? The southern den. He hid it this morning while we were focused here. How many? Kael stopped. Started again. How many did he take? 3 pups. 2 mothers. Finn's voice cracked. They're alive. For now. But Victor says if you don't meet him by sunset, I'll go, Kael said immediately. No, Mara said. She'd followed Finn into the clearing. It's a trap. He'll kill you. If I don't go, he kills them. If you do go, he kills everyone, the pups, the mothers, you. Then he takes the territory anyway. Mara grabbed Kael's arm. This is what he does. Forces you to choose between bad and worse. Don't give him what he wants. What would you have me do? Let children die? I'd have you think like an alpha instead of a martyr. Kael yanked his arm free. I am thinking like an alpha. An alpha protects his pack. All of it, including the pups. Not by dying. Then how? No one had an answer. Lena watched them argue, watched Kael spiral into impossible choices, and felt something click into place inside her. This was it. The moment where everything changed. She stood. I'll go. Everyone turned to stare at her. Absolutely not, Kael said. Victor doesn't want you dead. He wants me. So let's give him what he wants. So he can control you, use you, turn you into his weapon? No, so I can end this. Lena met his eyes. You said my power comes from the Ember Line. That they burned cities, toppled kingdoms. Maybe it's time I lived up to that. You'll get yourself killed. Maybe. But at least the pups will live. Lena. I'm done hiding, Kael. Done running. Done being afraid of what I am. She looked at her hands. You asked me what I choose to do with this power. I choose to save those kids, even if it costs me everything. Kale stared at her. You're serious? Dead serious? This is suicide. Probably. Lena smiled faintly. But you'll be there to pull me out if it goes wrong, right? That's not… Kyle stopped, looked at Mara. Tell her this is insane. It is insane, Mara said, but it might work. You're supposed to be the reasonable one. I'm being practical. Victor wants her. She's offering herself. We use that. How? She walks in, distracts him. We hit from the outside fast. Brutal. Get the pups out and burn the whole thing down before Victor knows what's happening. Kyle shook his head. Too many variables, too much risk. You have a better plan? No, but then we go with this one. Mara looked at Lena. You sure about this? No, but I'm doing it anyway. Good enough. Mara turned to Finn. Get the pack ready. Hit and run formation. We go in 30 minutes. Finn nodded and took off. Kale grabbed Lena's arm. Can I talk to you? Alone? They walked into the trees far enough that the others couldn't hear. Kyle stopped, turned to face her. Don't do this, he said quietly. I have to. No, you don't. We can find another way. There is no other way. You know that. Lena touched his face, and he went still. Those kids are going to die if someone doesn't stop Victor, and I'm the only one who can. You don't know that. Yes, I do. She pulled her hand back. I felt it. When I had Victor under my hand, I could have killed him so easily, like snuffing out a candle. That's not normal. That's not even normal for magic. I'm something else, Kale. Something dangerous. You're not. I am. And maybe that's okay. Maybe that's what the pack needs right now. Not a healer, a weapon. You're both. Then let me be both. Lena stepped closer. Let me save those kids, please. Kyle looked at her for a long time. Then he pulled her into his arms, holding tight enough to hurt. If you die, he said into her hair, I'm going to be very angry. Noted. I mean it. I know. He pulled back, cupped her face in his hands. Come back to me. I will. Promise. I promise. Kale kissed her, hard, desperate, like he was trying to memorize the taste of her mouth, the feel of her skin, everything. When he pulled away, his eyes were wet. Don't make me regret trusting you, he said. I won't. They walked back to the clearing together. The pack was assembling, 30 wolves, all that remained of Kyle's forces. Wounded, exhausted, but ready. Mara shifted to human. We hit them from 3 sides, north, east, west. Leave the south open so they have an escape route. Why give them an escape? Someone asked. Because cornered animals fight harder. We want them running, not dying. Mara looked at Lena. You go in from the south. Walk straight up to Victor. Make him focus on you. And then? Then you do what you do best. Burn, man. Lena nodded. Her hands were already heating up just thinking about it. Kale addressed the pack. This is it. We end this today. Victor falls, his pack scatters, and our territory is ours again. He paused. But more importantly, we bring our people home, the pups, the mothers, their pack. And we don't leave pack behind. The wolves howled their agreement. Move out, Kyle said. They moved. Oops. The border was exactly where Finn said it would be. Victor's pack lined the tree line, a wall of fur and teeth and burning eyes. 100 wolves, all watching as Lena approached. She walked alone. No weapons. No backup. Just her and the heat building inside her chest. Victor stepped out of the pack. Human form, still covered in burns from their last encounter, but standing tall. The healer, he said, right on time. Where are the pups? Close, safe, for now. Victor smiled. You came alone. How noble. Where are they? First we talk. We're done talking. No, we're really not. Victor gestured, and 2 of his wolves dragged something forward. Not the pups, Kyle's second in command, the one whose mate Victor had killed. He was beaten bloody, barely conscious, hands bound with silver chains. Let him go, Lena said. Answer my questions, and I will. What questions?
How did you kill my witch? What are you really? And how do I make sure you never use that power against me again? Lena looked at the man on the ground, at the pups somewhere nearby, at Victor's 100 wolves waiting for an excuse to attack. You want to know what I am? She said quietly. Fine, I'll show you. She reached for the heat, not carefully, not controlled. She just grabbed it and let it explode. Light burst from her hands, so bright Victor's wolves yelped and covered their eyes. The ground beneath her feet cracked. The air shimmered with heat, and Lena felt the power inside her finally break free. Not in pieces, not in bursts, all of it. She threw her hands forward and fire poured out. Not real fire, something hotter, brighter, burning without consuming. It hit Victor's line like a tidal wave, scattering wolves in every direction. Victor shifted and lunged at her. Lena caught him mid-leap. Her hands closed around his throat, and she poured heat into him. Victor screamed and thrashed, but she held on. You wanted a weapon? She said. Here I am. That's when Kale's pack hit. They poured out of the trees from 3 sides, crashing into Victor's scattered forces. Chaos erupted. Wolves fought wolves. Blood sprayed across the snow. Lena released Victor and ran toward where the pups were being held, a cage made of silver-laced chains in the center of Victor's camp. The mothers huddled around them, protecting them with their bodies. 2 of Victor's wolves moved to block her. Lena didn't slow down. She just threw heat at them. They went down screaming, fur smoking. She reached the cage and grabbed the chains. They burned her palms, searing flesh, but she didn't let go. Just poured heat into them until the metal glowed white and melted. The chains fell away. Run! Lena shouted at the mothers. Get them out of here! They didn't need to be told twice. They shifted, grabbed the pups by the scruff, and bolted. Victor slammed into Lena from behind. They hit the ground hard. Victor's jaws closed around her shoulder, teeth tearing through muscle. Lena screamed and grabbed his fur. Heat exploded between them. Victor flew backward, hit a tree, and didn't get up. His fur was smoking. His skin was blistered. He shifted back to human and stared at her with genuine terror. What are you? He gasped. The end of you. Lena stood. Her shoulder was bleeding, but she didn't care. She walked toward Victor, hands blazing. Please, Victor said. I'll leave. I'll take my pack and go. You'll never see me again. You killed people, tortured Kyle, took children. I was wrong. I see that now. Just, please. Lena crouched in front of him. You had your chance. I gave it to you, and you came back. I'm sorry. No, you're not. You're just scared. Lena pressed her hand against his chest. But you were right about one thing. I'm not a healer, not anymore. She felt Victor's life force under her palm, felt how easy it would be to snuff it out. 1 push, 1 second, and he'd be gone. Behind her, the battle was ending. Victor's pack was scattering, running, defeated. Kael's wolves were howling victory. Lena looked into Victor's eyes and chose. She pulled her hand back. Get out, she said. Take what's left of your pack and leave. Don't come back. Don't ever threaten Kael's territory again. Because if I see you, if I even hear about you, I won't stop next time. Victor stared at her like he couldn't believe what he was hearing. Go, Lena said, before I change my mind. Victor scrambled to his feet and ran. His remaining wolves followed, disappearing into the trees. Within minutes, the battlefield was empty except for Kael's pack. Lena stood alone in the center of it all, bleeding, burning, barely standing. Kael appeared beside her, human form, covered in blood but alive. You let him go. I did. Why? Because you were right. Killing him would have made me something I didn't want to be. Lena looked at him. I'm choosing to be a healer, even if I have to burn the world to protect the people I care about. Kael pulled her into his arms. You're insane. Probably. You could have died. But I didn't. Lena, I know. I'm reckless, dangerous, too powerful for my own good. She pulled back to look at him. But I'm alive. The pups are alive. And Victor's gone. That counts for something. It counts for everything. The pack gathered around them, Mara, Finn, the older wolf, even the young one who'd hated Lena before. They all shifted to human and stared at her. You saved them, Mara said quietly. The pups. You could have killed Victor, but you saved them instead. That's what Pac does, right? Yes, but Mara stopped. Then she did something Lena never expected. She dropped to one knee. You're not just Pac, you're Alpha. What? No, Kael's Alpha.
Kael's Alpha of the wolves, Mara said. But you're something else, something we've never had before. She looked at the others. She has power we can't match, strength we can't fight, and she chose to use it to save us instead of rule us. That's not just Pac, that's leadership. One by one, the others knelt, even Kael. What are you doing? Lena demanded.
Acknowledging what you are, Kael said. You're not just a healer anymore, Lena. You're not just Pac. He searched for the word. You're the balance between healing and destruction, between human and magic, between mercy and strength. I don't want to lead. You already are. Kael stood, pulled her close. Stand with me, not under me, not above me, beside me. Help me lead these people. Help me build something better than what we had. Lena looked at the pack, at the wolves who'd feared her, fought beside her, accepted her, at Kael, whose life she'd saved and who'd saved hers right back. She thought about the woman in her dream, the one who'd told her to burn the world if that's what it took to survive. But she didn't need to burn the world. She just needed to protect the part of it that mattered. Okay, she said quietly. I'll try. The pack howled, not in fear, in celebration. Lena stood in the center of it all, bleeding and burned and alive, and felt something shift inside her. Not the power, something deeper, belonging. She'd spent years running from connection, from attachment, from anything that might hurt her. And now she was standing in a forest surrounded by wolves, agreeing to lead people she'd known for less than a week. It was insane. It was terrifying. It was exactly where she needed to be. They returned to the main den as the sun set. The pups were reunited with their families. The wounded were tended. And slowly, carefully, the pack began to rebuild. Lena worked through the night, healing injuries with her hands and actual medical supplies when the heat inside her ran too low. She lost count of how many wounds she closed, how many lives she saved. By dawn, she was ready to collapse. Kael found her sitting by the fire, staring at her hands. They were scarred now, permanently marked by the chains she'd melted, the power she'd used. They didn't look like a healer's hands anymore. You should rest, he said. So should you. I will, after. He sat beside her. The pack's talking about you, about what happened. Good things or bad things? Both. Some are scared, some are grateful. Some think you're the best thing that's ever happened to us. Kael smiled faintly. They're calling you the Ember Alpha now. That's worse than just the Ember. Get used to it. Lena leaned against him. I almost killed Victor. You know that, right? I wanted to. I know. And I'm still not sure I made the right choice, letting him live. He's gone. His pack's scattered. He won't come back. You don't know that. No, but I believe it, because you scared him, really scared him. He knows what you can do now, and he knows you chose mercy once. He won't test you again. Lena wanted to believe that. What if I lose control? What if next time I can't stop? Then we'll deal with it, together. Kael took her scarred hands in his. You're not alone in this anymore. You have a pack, a family, people who will pull you back when you go too far. And if they can't, they will, because you're worth saving, just like I was. Lena closed her eyes. I don't know how to be what they need me to be. Neither did I when I became Alpha. But you learn, you adapt, and you trust the people around you to help when you can't do it alone. Kael kissed her forehead. You saved us, Lena. All of us. Now let us save you. She felt tears on her face and didn't bother wiping them away. Thank you for not giving up on me. Thank you for not giving up on yourself. They sat like that until the sun rose fully, warming the frozen world around them. And when Mara came to tell them the pack was ready to rebuild the southern dens, Lena stood with Kael and walked into her new life. Not as a victim, not as a weapon, as something in between, something powerful and broken and hopeful all at once. The pack followed them into the forest, 30 wolves who'd chosen to trust a stranger with impossible power, who'd chosen to believe that strength and mercy could coexist. Lena didn't know if she'd live up to that faith, but she was going to try. And in the wild frontier of blood and survival, where winter bit hard and enemies lurked in every shadow, that was enough. She'd found her place, not by running from who she was, but by embracing it. All of it. The healing and the burning, the fear and the strength, the human and the magic. She was the Ember Alpha, and everything had changed because of it. 3 months later, Lena stood on the ridge overlooking Kael's territory and watched the pack below. They'd rebuilt, fortified, grown stronger. New wolves had joined, drawn by stories of the Alpha who'd faced Victor and won. The territory was expanding, thriving, and Lena had learned. She could control the heat now, shape it, use it to heal or to harm depending on what was needed. She'd stopped 3 border skirmishes without killing anyone, had healed wounds that should have been fatal, had proven, again and again, that power didn't have to corrupt. It just had to be chosen carefully. Kael appeared beside her, wrapping an arm around her waist. "What are you thinking about? How different everything is. Good different or bad different? I'm not sure yet." Lena looked at him. "I used to be terrified of connection, of caring about people, of letting anyone in. And now? Now I'm terrified of losing it." She gestured at the pack below. "All of it. You, them. This life we're building. Then we make sure we don't lose it." Kael pulled her closer. "We fight for it, protect it, build it into something that lasts. You make it sound simple. It's not simple, but it's worth it." Lena kissed him, soft, lingering, tasting the future on his lips. "Yeah," she said, "it is." They stood on the ridge as the sun set, watching over the pack that had become their family. And in the fading light, Lena felt the heat inside her settle. Not gone, never gone, but at peace. She'd been a paramedic who saved lives, then a stranger stumbling into an impossible world, then a weapon learning to control her power. And now she was home, the Ember Alpha, the healer who burned, the human who chose to stand with wolves and fight for something bigger than herself. She'd survived the storm, and she'd become the fire that would protect everyone she loved. That was enough. That was everything.